Right now, you are the most dangerous animal on Earth. Not you specifically, your species, humans. No creature alive lacks reason to fear us. Lions, bears, sharks, wolves. We've pushed every one of them to the edges of the world. You walk through nature like you own it. In a sense, you do. So here is something that should stop you cold. For almost the entire history of our kind, the opposite was true. We were not the hunters, we were the hunted. Picture yourself on an open plain, long ago. No claws, feel your useless fingernails. No fangs, run your tongue across your flat little teeth. You can't outrun a cave lion. You can't outmuscle a cave bear. You can't fight off dire wolves circling in the grass. You are soft, slow, easy to kill. And in the grass, a saber-toothed cat watches you, silent, its dagger-long fangs built for one purpose. To a predator like that, you're not a threat. You're a meal not yet caught. That prickle on your neck, the sense of being watched. You inherited it from ancestors, a leopard dragged into the dark. For hundreds of thousands of years, your kind lived and died as prey. And then the most hunted animal on the savanna did something no creature had ever done. It flipped the entire order of nature upside down. The prey became the predator. The hunted became the most feared animal alive. How does something soft enough to be killed by a hyena become the deadliest force this planet has seen? That's the story. And it's more chilling than you think. To grasp how far we climbed, feel how low we started. Strip away everything that protects you. No house, no walls, no locked door between you and the night. No weapons, no phone, no fire, not yet. Just you, your soft skin and open grassland in every direction. Now look at what you share that grassland with. The saber-toothed cat, heavier than you, canines longer than your hand. The cave lion, larger than any lion alive today, hunting in prides. The cave hyena, with jaws that crack a bison's thigh bone. Each is faster, stronger, and better armed than you. And you? You're standing there with flat teeth and soft fingertips. Be honest. In a straight fight, you lose to every one of them. This was not a rare danger. It was every day. Your ancestors woke as prey and slept as prey. Try to rest in that world. You can't, not fully. Part of your mind stays awake as you sleep, listening for a twig. And we have proof this was real. Not a guess. Proof, written in old bones. Some of the oldest human skulls ever found carry puncture marks. 2 neat holes in a child's skull, a perfect match for a leopard's fangs. That child was carried up a tree to be eaten, the way leopards still cache kills today. Sit with that. Let it become real. A big cat could carry off an ancestor as easily as a house cat carries a mouse. That is where we began. Not at the top, at the bottom. How does anything climb out of a hole that deep? To answer, look honestly at the body you walk around in. At first glance, a body that should have lost. Compare yourself to a leopard. It has retractable claws. You have fingernails that barely open a package. It has a crushing bite. You have a jaw that struggles with a tough steak. It leaps, sprints, and climbs in ways your body could never survive. Against almost any ancient predator, the story repeats. You are slower, weaker, softer, less armed at every turn. If you were designing an animal to dominate the planet, you'd never design a human. And yet, hidden inside that weak body were a few strange gifts. They didn't look like weapons. They looked like flaws. Start with the fact that you stand on 2 legs. On the surface, a downgrade. Slower, less stable, your soft belly exposed. But feel what those 2 legs free up. They free your hands completely. A cave lion's front limbs are locked into running. Yours are free, carrying, gripping, throwing, making. It didn't look like an advantage yet, but it was the first crack of light. Then there's the strangest gift of all, one happening to you right now. You are sweating. Quietly, constantly, your skin releases moisture to cool you. It feels like nothing. But it's a superpower in disguise. Almost every large animal cools by panting, and a panting animal can't run for long. A cave lion explodes into a sprint that leaves you far behind. But it overheats fast. It has to stop, rest in the shade, and pant. You don't. Nearly hairless and covered in sweat glands, you keep moving long after a big cat collapses. In a sprint, you lose. But over hours, under a punishing sun, you win. You were never built to be fastest. You were built to never stop. And then there's the gift behind your eyes, a brain that, for its size, was becoming something the world had never seen. Not just intelligent, something more dangerous than intelligence. A brain wired to connect with other brains. We'll return to that. It's the heart of this whole story. For now, hold this. The weak body hid 3 quiet edges. Free hands, endless endurance, a brain built to link with others. None looked like much on their own. Put them together, and you get the most dangerous combination in the history of life. That combination first showed its teeth with a single, world-changing discovery: fire. Imagine what fire meant to a creature that had only been prey. Darkness meant death. Night was when the cave lion and hyena came. Every sunset you huddled and listened, waiting to survive until morning. Then your ancestors learned to hold a piece of the sun in their hands. Picture the first night your group sat in a ring of firelight. For the first time, the dark had an edge it would not cross. The saber-toothed cat that stalked you so easily now hesitated at the tree line. After 100,000 generations of fear, a wall against the night, fire didn't just warm you, it pushed the predators back. For the first time, you could sleep deeper, recover, plan. And fire did something quieter, just as powerful. It let you cook. Cooked food gave far more energy per bite, energy your hungry brain needed. So the fire fed your body and the very organ that would change everything. But fire alone doesn't make a predator. It's a shield, not a spear. The next edge began turning the hunted into the hunter. Stone. Picture an ancestor striking one rock against another over and over until the edge turns sharp. It seems simple, but that edge changed the rules of survival. Suddenly your soft body had a claw to hold, a fang to grip. You couldn't bite through hide, but now you held a stone edge that could. A carcass left by a saber-toothed cat could now be opened by you, its marrow yours. At first you scavenged, darting in to steal what big predators left. But the same hands were about to learn something far more dangerous. They were about to learn to throw. Pick up a stone in your mind. Feel its weight in your palm. Your shoulder, elbow, and wrist are built, almost uniquely in nature, to hurl it fast and true. A chimpanzee can't throw the way you can. Almost nothing can. For the first time, you could hurt something without touching it. You could strike from a distance, beyond fangs and claws. A predator must close in to kill. Now you could begin from 10 paces away. The math of every encounter was changing, but even fire, stone, and throwing weren't the real weapon. They were tools, and tools in one pair of hands are still fragile. The thing that truly made us deadly wasn't in our hands at all. It was in how those hands worked together. To see it, look not at one ancient human, but at the group. Here is the truth that flips the whole story. One human alone, on that ancient plane, is still mostly prey. Leave the strongest individual alone against a cave lion, and they'll likely die. But humans were almost never alone. And a group of humans isn't just many individuals, it's something new. Picture 10 of your ancestors moving together across the grassland. They watch every direction at once. No predator approaches unseen. They share food, so one bad hunt doesn't mean starvation. They defend each other, becoming a coordinated wall. And crucially, they could do something no other animal could do nearly as well. They could share what was inside their minds. Through language, one human could place a thought directly into another's mind. Think how staggering that is. One ancestor could say, "A wounded bison waits beyond that ridge," and suddenly 9 others knew it, without seeing it, without being there. They could plan. You go left, you drive it toward the gully. We wait there. No claw or fang could match it. A group that could plan was one mind with 20 hands. This is the real weapon, not the body, the bond. And it gave rise to a way of hunting that sounds unbelievable. You couldn't outsprint your prey, so you didn't try. Instead, you did something only your tireless, upright body could do. You walked it to death. This is persistence hunting, perhaps one of the oldest hunting methods we have. You spot an antelope and start after it, not sprinting, just moving. It bolts, leaving you far behind. To any other predator, the chase is already lost. But you don't stop. You follow the tracks, the broken grass, the signs only you can read. You find it again, resting in the shade, and you start it running once more. The sun climbs, the animal sprints and pants, filling with heat it can't release. And you sweat, you cool, you keep coming. Imagine being that animal. Every time it rests, the relentless upright thing appears again. Hour after hour, under the blazing sun, you never speed up and never stop until the animal gives out. It collapses, unable to run or fight. You didn't need to be faster. You needed to be relentless, and you were. Endurance, tracking, cooperation, woven into something no lone predator could match. The hunted had learned to hunt, and to do it as one. But the final transformation, prey becoming predator, needed one more leap. The weapons had to reach further. The cooperation had to grow sharper. That's when everything tipped. The thrown stone became the thrown spear. And in time, the spear became something even deadlier. Picture a fire-hardened spear hurled with the full power of your throwing arm. Now picture a row of them, launched together by a group. A cave lion charging such a group no longer met soft, fleeing prey. It met a wall of points thrown from a distance by 10 minds as one. The predator that hunted you for ages now faced something it didn't understand. Prey that fought back. That planned. That could kill it before it landed a blow. Then came the most important weapon of all, the spear thrower and later the bow. Feel what distance does to a fight. A saber-toothed cat had to close the gap and bring its fangs to your throat, risking everything. But a human with a bow could kill from across a clearing, risking nothing. You could strike before the predator even knew the hunt had begun. For the first time in your kind's history, the most dangerous thing in any encounter was you. Now turn it around and feel it from the other side. For millions of years, the big cats and wolves ruled by one law: strength and speed win. And now, a soft, slow, clawless animal was breaking that law completely. Killing from a distance, hunting in coordinated packs of planning minds. Never tiring. The cave lion began to fear firelight. The saber-toothed cat avoided the human scent. Slowly, across thousands of years, the balance of the natural world inverted. The animals that ate your ancestors began to vanish, many hunted to extinction by the prey they once chased. The great Ice Age predators, saber-tooths, cave lions, dire wolves, faded from the earth. And the soft creature that once hid from them inherited the whole planet. The scale of that reversal is almost beyond comprehension. The most hunted animal on the savanna became the apex predator of every continent and ocean. Nothing like it had happened before. Nothing like it has happened since. And it happened not because we grew stronger bodies. It happened because of fire, tools, endurance, and above all, because we did it together. But here is where the story turns and reaches for you directly. That ancient transformation didn't leave you behind. It's still inside you, right now, in ways you've never noticed. Remember that prickle on the back of your neck in the dark? That is not a flaw. It's an ancient alarm system, still running. The fear of being watched, of the dark, of the unseen thing in the trees. That is the prey in you. It kept your ancestors alive long enough to become something more, and never switched off. Notice it next time you quicken past a dark alley. That is the leopard, remembered in your blood. But you carry the other half of the story too, the predator half. Feel it in what your body still loves. The thrill of a thrown ball landing where you aimed. That is the throwing arm that once killed at a distance. The pull toward a crackling fire. That is 100,000 nights of safety written into you. The satisfaction of solving a problem as a team. The cooperative mind that conquered the planet. You aren't separate from this story. You are its living result. Every advantage they fought and died to earn sits inside you as you breathe. The endurance that walked antelope to death is in your legs. The hands that shaped the first sharp stone are at the ends of your arms. The brain that linked with others and planned the impossible is reading these words now, You are the descendant of winners, watchful, clever, and together enough to survive. Every direct ancestor of yours, without exception, lived long enough to pass life on. Through hundreds of thousands of years of predators, famine, and darkness, not one failed. An unbroken chain of survivors stretching back to the very first prey on the plain. And it runs straight through history into you. Sit with how staggering that is. You are the latest link in the most successful survival story the planet has produced. So, how did ancient humans stop being prey and become the most dangerous thing alive? Not in a single moment. Not with a single discovery. Fire pushing back the dark. Stone turned to an edge. An arm that could throw. A body that could outlast the sun, and a mind that could plan beyond the horizon. But more than any of those, we never did it alone. The lone human was prey. The group was the apex predator. Our deadliest weapon was never teeth, hands, or tools. It was each other. And that should change how you see the danger we became. We didn't just escape being prey. We overshot it entirely. We didn't just match the cave lion. We became more dangerous than every predator that ever lived, combined. The saber-toothed cat is gone. The cave lion is gone. The dire wolf is gone. And the soft creature they hunted is still here, reading this in a warm room behind a locked door. Safe because of everything those ancestors did. In a world we remade entirely around ourselves. But don't mistake that safety for weakness. The predator is still in you. It's only sleeping. Feel it next time your heart pounds at a sudden sound. The prey, still alert. Feel it next time you and others move together toward one goal. The pack, still hunting. Feel it next time you stare into a fire and feel strangely calm. The ancient victory, still warm. You walked in certain you were the dominant animal on Earth. And you are. But now you know the price. You know the ages of being hunted that came first. You know the bones with the leopard's fang marks. The children carried into the dark. Your comfort was bought by ancestors who lived every night in fear and refused to stop fighting. The most dangerous animal on Earth was not born dangerous. It was forged, slowly and painfully, from the most hunted creature on the plain. It learned to hold fire, to sharpen stone, to throw, to endure, to plan, to stand together. And in doing so, it did something the universe had never seen. The prey rose up and became the predator all other predators fear. That is not just the story of ancient humans. That is the story of you. The next time you feel that prickle on the back of your neck in the dark, don't be ashamed of the fear. It is the oldest part of you, what survived the saber-tooth, the cave lion, the endless watching night. But remember what came after the fear, too. The same creature that trembled in the dark learned to make the dark fear it. You come from prey that refused to stay prey. From the hunted that taught itself to hunt. From the weak that found the one strength nothing else on earth could match, each other. Look at your soft hands, your flat teeth, your fragile skin. By every rule of the wild, you should have been a meal. Instead, you inherited the world. Not because you were strongest, not because you were fastest, but because your ancestors were relentless, clever, and above all, never alone. The saber-toothed cat had everything. Fangs, strength, speed. And it is dust. You have soft skin, a clever brain, the memory of every fire ever lit. And you are still here. That is the difference. That is what we became. The prey that turned and faced the dark and won. The most dangerous thing alive. Which means, in the end, it was always you.